Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Goose Garage. Alright, I got underneath Dad's convertible here, and it's not the fuel filter that was leaking, but it did need one, and I'll show that to you here in a second. What's actually leaking is if you can see it, you may not, well, maybe if I put my finger right there, you see that? Teeth marks. They chewed through the return hose. So, since it needed a filter anyway, I went ahead and took that off, and I'll show you why it needs a filter. I don't see anything wrong with the rest of the hoses. So I need to get a piece of hose. I think that's 5/16. I don't think I have any of that. I have 3/8, but I don't have 5/16. It chewed through the return hose. Honestly, I could probably just, well, I mean, I could cut it and put a splitter in it, you know, a fitting, but I don't really want to do that. It's just a hose. So, but the reason it does indeed need a fuel filter, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so that's an original, to my knowledge. I know that we never put one on it, and if you can hear this, inside of the filter's loose. When I first did that, I was shaking out black stuff. Alright, so that should fix that. They're not supposed to sound that way, you know, so I'll change that, but I gotta get about a foot of hose. And I don't think I have any. I don't think I do. So, I'll look though, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any 5/16 hose. And I guess you could say you probably do need to put a piece of fuel injection hose on that, but you don't really have to. That's not a pressure fitting. That's not a pressure hose. If that was a pressure hose, it would have been spraying. That's just you know, same hose as a carbureted car. And even if it was the pressure hose, these cars run on 25 psi. So what else have I done today? Happy I'm not going to have to drop the gas tank on this. It's too short. And it's hard. But I'm happy I'm not going to have to drop the gas tank. I put a tire on my Metro. The tire I showed you this last night. I put it on my car. And it's doing okay. See, I don't have a tire balancer. So, and we only have a mechanical manual tire changer. I only really ever use it to break a tire down, especially when it's an aluminum wheel and it's a small wheel. I use it to break it down, and then I just take it off with a screwdriver, a couple screwdrivers in the pry bar. It's a lot quicker. But I don't have a balancer, so it kind of is what it is. it doesn't seem to vibrate at the speeds that I drive that car. So, I mean, it's fine. Didn't really show you all that much yesterday on this, and I ain't going to show you all that much today. But something I do want to kind of mention. It seems to be, to me, and I kind of mentioned this, I think, that modern water pumps for these cars aren't as good as they were. They're just not. There's really, I guess, no reason for them to be, so they use the cheapest bearings they can. And I have this feeling that they've had to downsize the bearings or something, because it shouldn't have ate itself that quick. The other one that used to be on that engine was an Anderson or whatever. It was a factory one. You can still get them, but they're about 3 times as much as all the rest of them. I guess if it was a car that was going to get driven all the time, I wouldn't mind spending $60 on a Rock Auto not to have to worry about it again for a while, because that's the difference between Chinese and Japanese. So, and I mean, the Andersons or whatever, the factory equipment ones are still Japanese, and that's not. So I guess if you were going to drive it all the time, you'd probably want to buy a better pump. As long as this one makes it a year or two, Dad's happy. That's what the other one made it. Well, a year. Another thing, I guess, it's just my opinion. See these lines here, these hoses? Those are the fuel pressure hoses for the throttle body. These are originals. These are still soft, like a fuel hose should be. And the ones on the back of this, back there, other than that one that got ate by the mouse, is also like that. You get to this piece of hose, and this piece of hose was actually even, this was off the Chevelle, I think. I think I had this on the 67. It's so hard that you can't bend it. I mean, it's hard to bend it. And that was only 2-3 years old. So the reason I kind of hesitate, I might just go up in the field and take a hose off another Metro. The hoses aren't as good as they were. It's whatever kind of rubber that they make that out of. I mean, this car runs ethanol gas, and it's not affecting these hoses. But the newer hose you can buy at a parts store is. And even the ones on my Metro, but I kind of replaced all of them on my car. They're too hard. So probably need to stick with, that stuff. And I don't, in my experience, think that it matters if you buy fuel injection hose or not that's got the Viton liner. I don't really think it matters, because it gets hard too. This hose, if it dissolves or gets hard, if it gets hard, it's not going to do anything because it's just a return hose. But I would like to kind of maybe try to find another old hose. I think maybe the parts car behind the garage here might have a piece. If you like Metro stuff, I hope you've liked the video. If you like watching everything, I hope you've liked the video. We'll get back to better stuff soon. But kind of is what it is. Okay, so this is a 92, and it is an EGR car. And here's your EGR valve, your vacuum liner into it. That's actually like a filter. You can see it's a little bit dirty, but it's not. My car was also an EGR car. I didn't realize how rare, I guess. I mean, it's rare, but it's not worth anything. It's one of those things. But really, how hard to find an EGR intake is for a first gen early Metro, because they're different 94 up. So I don't have one, and I would kind of like for my car to have one, but I have the one off mine. It's just kind of everything from here back is busted, so I had to use a different intake on mine to make it where it would run. But none of the other Metros out here are EGR cars, except the blue car. The blue car is an EGR car, I think. I don't think it's hooked up, but it is an EGR car. So, story time. If you made it to the end of the video, you might like watching Metro stuff. So I'm going to tell you this is story time. Back when I was a little kid, really not that little. I might have been 11, 12. Yeah, 12. Dad bought that blue Metro off of a woman that he knew, and it had a burn valve. Well, he rebuilt another one we had around that time, and he took the pistons out of that engine. He needed 2 of the pistons for his car, because we kind of had a parts car that had an engine in it. So a few years later, a year or so later, me and Dad took, with me 11, 12 years old, the engine out of a parts car that my brother rolled back in the late 90s. That engine ended up being in the blue car, Danny's car. Dad drove it for a little bit. It burned a valve, because back then we didn't know you couldn't run 2050 oil in a Metro. If you run 2050 oil in a Metro, it will burn a valve. Really, you don't really want to run more than 530 in it, but we never really had an issue with cars burning valves running 1030, 1040. Danny's, with him, he ran it, 400,000 on 1030, 1040. It never burned a valve. So, again, So, Danny's car, that engine is actually out of another car we had. And I still have the engine and stuff that was originally in that car, but it doesn't have a crank and pistons. It does still exist. Doesn't really matter. But I had an intake that I thought would have been an EGR intake. Turns out, we swapped the intakes. He kept the intake on that engine that the car had, not that the engine had. So the other day I thought I had a spare. It turns out I didn't. The really only other one out here is that blue car. So, I kind of said that 2-3 times, but I really don't want to take an intake off that car. I don't mind taking the computer and the distributor, but I don't want to take the intake off of it, because to me, that's that car's stuff. But what I did think about doing is running my car until something happens to it, or something starts to happen to it, and putting a set of rings that I have in Danny's engine, and replace a piston or 2 if it needs it. It may need all 3 of them. It might not need any of them. But I know the way that sounds, it needs a piston. So I considered rebuilding the engine in the blue car and keeping it in it, until mine needs one, and then swapping the whole engine and transmission, everything out of that blue car into mine, or everything out of that blue car into another car, because it's not really worth the aggravation of clipping that car. I would like to fix that car, but I mean, how many projects do you need like that? The blue car could live on in another car. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And if I was to do that, then changing the computer and the transmission engine, everything, mine should actually run the way his did. And when you're saying this and comparing it, it's kind of apples to oranges in a way. You think all three-cylinder Metros are the same. Well, they kind of are. Except sometimes certain cars run better than others. Mine never has ran right. Even when it was my aunt's husband's car, it didn't run right then. I've changed a couple things, it still doesn't run right. So, you know, maybe sometimes you swap things, you know. I don't know, just an idea. Just something I thought I'd mention. But anyway, tell me what you think. I kind of like this style of video more than my other videos because I like being able to just post things unedited and just let it be what it is. I realize that's not what people like to see. They like to actually see something get done in a video, and I don't blame them. But I kind of like this style too. I mean, just talking, showing things, telling stories. I like that. Anyway, I'll see us again next time. Bye.